Hi everybody. What is your distraction? The definition of distraction is something that directs your attention away from something else. Now, many of us are awake, and some of us have been awake for a very, very long time. We know there's something wrong, and that's why we awaken. It's, as Shakespeare said, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. So yes, we know there's something wrong with this third dimensional reality. It is a matrix, and you are in a dream spell. It is time to awaken. But many of us are choosing to move on along our ascension path. Gaia has gone to the fifth dimension, and many of us will elect to join Gaia in the fifth dimension. And there are so many truth sandwiches. Now, truth sandwich is two truths, and in between is a lie. But you can't tell the difference because you see the truth and yes, it resonates, but then there's a lie in there. And some of it is by accident, but a lot of it is there to manipulate. Now, when we came into this low dimension of the third dimension, we come down losing our memory, but we also lost our connection. So we forget who we are. And this made it very difficult for souls to get out of the third dimension, particularly when our free will was taken away by the controllers. Yeah, they needed our energy, and we had lost our memory, or we'd lost our connection, and we were using our five senses and being very, very reliant on our brain and what they told us. And we've been in this loop for a very, very long time. But the awakening is now. And why I'm making this video is to help people understand what is your distraction. You want to avoid staying in your mind. You need to deprogram what you've been taught, what you know. The third dimension, the brain was very important. In the fifth dimension, you go through with your heart. We are going through to a love-based community. We are going back to the truth. This is who our souls are. We are one. We are highly, highly connected to each other. We are connected to everything. The beautiful thing about the time we are in now is we have moved from the age of beliefs into the age of knowing. Effectively, the age of Aquarius has begun, and that is the age of truth. So, you know, when you think about it, your body and your brain, they belong to Earth. Your physical molecules belong to Earth, and that, yes, they are having one life. But your soul is endless, it's timeless. You are far more than your body, you are far more than your brain. And when you go into your heart and you start to reconnect with your soul, your higher selves, your guides, with your galactic families, with your families, and the more you go into your heart, the more your gifts, your natural gifts, we've all got them. They will come online. I'm talking about things like your empathy, your ability to work with energy, your clairvoyance, your third eye abilities. There is so much. We are so powerful. But we had forgotten that in the third dimension. And if you are distracted and you continue to stay in your mind, then you're making it that much more difficult for yourself to drop into your heart space. Now, we've got a beautiful or simplified diagram to help illustrate the importance of what we're talking about here, but for you to stay out of your mind and to stay in your heart. Just got a little whiteboard, and on the whiteboard we're coming from the third dimension, and when you awaken, you now come into the fourth dimension. You know there's more, and you go seeking. Now the path to the fifth dimension, as I say, is through your heart. You enter the fifth dimension by going through your heart. But what a lot of us are doing is as we awaken, we now go and look, we stay in our minds and we go fact finding. I myself was very much into the history. I thought I'd be able to prove how fake everything was by finding my answers, but I stayed in my mind. And that was me being on this branch. Now, it doesn't take you to the fifth dimension because you're in your mind. The answers aren't there. So eventually you find your way back to the tree, and you go back in your heart, and that's how you ascend. You ascend through your heart, not your mind. other examples of you staying in your mind or being fact-driven. You're staying in the news. You're focusing on Trump. You're focusing on COVID. There's so many things. A little bit later in the video, I've got 4 slides. I sat in the garden yesterday for about 30 minutes and I just brainstormed and I came up with words that a lot of us will be distracting a lot of us, and that'll come up shortly in the video. A good song for you to listen to get a clear concept of what I'm trying to talk about here is the Billy Joel song, We Didn't Start the Fire. People who know the song know how much information is in that song, and it is such a beautiful song, such an impactful song, but it is so busy, and that's what modern life is. You know, our guides came through yesterday. We got the information. I asked about, because I always ask about how different parts of the world are going, and obviously of concern to us is Africa, because we've got family in Africa, and Africa is being hit the hardest. They will come into the 5th dimension as a collective way behind the rest of us, a couple of years. However, the interesting thing was that parts of Africa are currently very, very high vibrating, and the part, it's Central Africa. So if you know Africa, you know, most of Africa was colonized. It's got some first world to it, some modernization, but the part I'm talking about, Central Africa, is jungle. Yes, there is gold there, and there's a lot of wars and things going on there, but it's a massive country, but there's no modernization. They don't have the modern distractions that we have, and that's what fascinated me, was their vibration is so high because they're not in their mind, they're not distracted, and that's why I thought this video needs to be made. Now the interesting thing, I talk about our guides. We've got many guides. We've all got our higher selves, and we've got, there's so many. Each week it seems more and more, we get more and more connected, so more guides come through. But since September last year, September 2020, we've been in contact with, it's my father-in-law, it's Sue and Natalie's dad. You know, I had no idea that life would take this turn that it took. But you know, Dad passed in 2009, and 11 years later, he's back. We talk to him, or Nats and Sue can talk to him at any time, and it's him. It's the most beautiful thing. So yeah, we've kept our journey private and under wraps up until this point for a lot of reasons, but we've got such a beautiful, loving soul helping us through this process, as do you. And I encourage you all to look into your hearts. It is the most magnificent journey. I did not know that there was a thing called the 5th dimension. I didn't even know we were in the 3rd dimensional matrix. And yet, here we are. We've awoken, and we are now ascending. And it is magnificent. But we are all so powerful. When you awaken and you start to go into your heart, that's when your powers return to you. If you stay in your mind, you make it that much more difficult for yourself. So when you go into your heart, that's one of the ways you find your answers. That is the spiritual journey, is you're going back into your heart. I'm talking about your heart chakra, your higher heart chakra, because we are connected, we are energy, we are connected to everything, and people are communicating with us. I can guarantee you this room is filled with energetic beings. They are everywhere. It is the most magnificent thing, and the more you drop into your heart, the more this world unravels and it reveals itself to you. The other way for you to find that information is to connect with your tribe. the spiritual community is growing and it's becoming so much more powerful. And so between those two, it's difficult to know who to trust, and it's difficult to trust yourself. But that's where you start. And but you do need to use your own skills. You do have to build your own knowing. It is the age of knowing. You can do it, but you will not do it if you're distracted, and you will not do it through your brain. This is a love-based world, a love-based universe, a love-based existence. We are a part of source energy. We are all connected. So you've got to grow your knowing and you grow your own trust. So you listen to your body. You've got the 7 chakras. There's many ways you can understand how your chakras are functioning. There's a lot of information about that, but ideally you want the energy to be flowing through your body. We receive energy from Gaia, and we receive energy from the cosmos, and it needs to flow through all the chakras in both directions. So block chakras, you need to be doing your chakra work to clear your chakras. You need the energy to flow, and learn to stand in your sovereignty. This is a big thing. This is a good matrix. This third dimension matrix is a good matrix, but we are out now, and we are getting out more and more each day, more and more people. But standing in your sovereignty is very important. The pressures from the people around you who are still asleep are immense. Could be family members, could be work colleagues, it could be everybody in your country, it feels like at times. But you are powerful. Trust your sovereignty. Stand in your sovereignty. And on this ascension path, there's a lot for you to do. You've got your shadow work to do. You've potentially got karmas to clear. Hexes. Implants. The attachments. The parasitic attachments or demonic attachments. It blew my mind as to what we don't know. So you learn to protect your energy. But I'm getting a little bit off topic, but that's part of the ascension. But if you stay in your mind, you are really doing yourself a big disservice on this journey. So now I'm going to start putting up the slides, and I'm not going to mention all of them. If you want to read through them, please just pause the video. But I'll just talk through each slide as we go. Slide number 1, some bigger issues from a society point of view. Slide 2, more personal, around work and family and self. A lot of issues. Obviously, as I said earlier, this is by no means all. This is more interest groups that you may or may not be interested in. There's obviously a lot more. And moving on to the final slide, a bit more personal. Some different things which could be affecting us in different ways on a personal basis. So people are always asking the natural question, how do you get out of your head? And believe me, I can tell. I've spent my life being brain focused. General knowledge, knowing the news, being up to date on everything. It was who I was. And there's a lot more to my story. But I really struggled to get into my heart. So what are things you can do? One of the most powerful is reconnecting with nature. Taking yourself off and just spending time with nature. But when you're switching your brain off, what you're effectively trying to do is you're trying to feel, what is my body sensing? What is my body feeling? So when something makes you happy and your heart expands, sort of remember that feeling, because that's what we're talking about. You get to know how your body reacts. If you walk into a room and you know this to be a room of people where they drain your energy, look for that moment where you feel your body. It'll be your solar plexus and your sacral will tighten. Your body talks to you, and it's about the feelings. We are moving away from thinking and overthinking, and we are moving away to listening to our body, trusting our knowing. And the more we do that, the more will flow, the more power, because it's just the way it works. As soon as you put your mind back in it, you're putting a handbrake on. You take the mind down and you go back into who you truly are. This is your soul, a journey of your soul. It is, the brain is merely a tool that you use. But anyway, the other things you can do, beautiful music, meditations, just flow, dancing, movement. Just there's so much beautiful things you can do. What you can be doing is your breath work. That's about beautiful breathing. You try and learn slowly over time to breathe in. Take your time to breathe in. Take your time to hold it. Take your time to release it out again. And try and develop it over time. There's a lot of energy available to you through your breath. So and when you're breathing out, but when you expel through your mouth, you release blocked energy. So anytime you're yawning, anytime you're burping, that on the ascension journey you'll get to know all about burping. It's quite normal. Blocked energy has to flow out. It's weird at first, but it becomes absolutely normal, and we all do it. It's not, obviously the controllers taught us bad manners to burp or to yawn and to make too much noise, but that energy needs to get out. Once you've cleared, it's cleared. Grounding, walking barefoot on Gaia, listening to birds, meditating. Now there's no specific hard and fast rule on meditating. It's what works for you. You can find a comfortable place, lie down and put some beautiful meditations on. There's the energy that we're putting into our videos. Your body will understand it. Remember, we are all connected. Energetically, we are connected. We are one. So when somebody sends unconditional love to you, your body will understand that. So you don't have to overthink it. Just have the intention to receive the energy, and that will be of help to you. The 432 music, beautiful. And other ways that are really, very helpful. Salt baths, magnificent, so relaxing on the body, and being in water. So if showers are great, but baths, fantastic for clearing your energies. If you have an ocean near to you and you can get in for a swim, swimming in the ocean is so powerful. You've got the energy of nature. You've got the salt water. You're grounded. What a magnificent way to be helping yourself to get back in touch with your body and to forget who you've been programmed to be in the third dimension. Anyway, guys, just a quick video on distraction. I hope this gives you some food for thought and understanding on how important it is to stay in your heart if you're on this ascension process with us. It's a beautiful journey. That's all for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.